Oh, hello, hello. How are you? How are you? Happy Tuesday. I'm so happy to be here. If you're seeing this, you're probably coming from the replay. So make sure you let me know that you came by and watched from the future. Welcome. Super excited to be here again for our weekly Tuesday live. We're just going to give some humans a minute to jump in and find their way here. I have a really good conversation to get started today, and I'm super excited. So just pulling you up on my phone here so that way we can have the conversation. Say hello. Tell me that you're here. Happy Tuesday. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Everything's in retrograde, but we're okay. We're going to be okay, you guys. We are going to be okay. All right. So I titled this video, like your biggest time and energy leak solved, because I have found time and time again that there is one thing that really just derails us more than fucking anything. So we're going to talk about it today. Hello, Fallon, feeling sticky. Yes, definitely. And I think that in these times that are a little bit energetic, sticky, that's like the universe's way of telling us to slow down, to reevaluate. And that's really what retrogrades are beautiful for, is reflection and, just kind of like taking inventory on things and maybe a little bit less action than usual. And that is totally okay. There are times for high action. There are times for high reflection. There are times for creation. There are times for birthing. There are times for gestating. There's a season for everything. And so just being in the season of your business is important. So I'm going to move this here so that way I can glance down a little bit and see what is coming through on the chat. But so here's the thing. I have been coaching now for, over 4 years, and I've worked with a lot of people, and I've been in my own business at all various different stages of growth and expansion, from, like it just being me with no clients, to building to my first 6 figures, to building to multi 6 figures and running like a full-fledged team. And at the end of the day, it's really, there's one thing that consistently will trip you up every step of the way, that will be one of your biggest sucks of energy and time in your business and can derail you faster than anything. And ultimately, that is self-doubt. Doubting yourself and second guessing yourself over and over and over again is going to keep you paralyzed, keep you out of action, keep you worried about and focused on a whole bunch of different things that don't actually really matter and may not even be real. And it's like you're hemorrhaging when you are in self-doubt. You are hemorrhaging energy. You are hemorrhaging anxiety. You are hemorrhaging fear, and you're wasting your time. Right? Because while you're sitting in your self-doubt, while your doubt is blocking your clarity, it's blocking your decision, it is blocking your intuition. And so you can't be taking action when you are in a place of doubt. So you're sitting still, you're a sitting duck, creating scenarios and stories and not actually doing the thing. And this is one of the things that when I clean this up in my clients' lives and their businesses, and when I have it really clean and like locked in energetically in my own business and my own life, that we see a lot of really rapid growth. And the thing is that most doubt that we have that comes in is not even real. We second guess ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. And we're always like asking ourselves, looking elsewhere for the validation. and for the proof that like we're good enough, that we're good enough to create the program, that we're good enough for the clients to step into the program that we are creating, that we're good enough to pivot into the next thing, that it's safe to pivot into the next thing, that if we have something that we desire to do that isn't necessarily exactly what we've been doing, that it's okay to do that, that the program that we created and the pricing that we desire for it is the correct thing. And we get into these cycles of overthinking and second guessing, which just leads to a whole bunch of lack of clarity and indecision. And at the end of the day, like nobody and nothing can come save you from this but yourself. Because confidence and clarity and trusting your intuition is an internally sourced thing. Because if you're doubting yourself now, I promise you, you're not going to all of a sudden trust yourself because you have people in your programs, because you sold out your last launch. That is something you have to decide for yourself, because you're in these businesses, we're always pushing into our next level of edges. And so, you know, I may have a launch right now that I sell out and do really well with, but then when I'm moving into the next thing that is maybe like a mastermind, and that's a little bit bigger and it's higher ticket and it's a different vibe of a container, the launch that I sold out for a group program that was completely structured differently isn't actually going to be like the banked evidence that I can sell out the mastermind, because my brain's going to tell me, but you've never done a mastermind before, but you've never sold at this level of investment before. And the same thing with your one-on-one. You could sell out your one-on-one practice at $1,000 a month, but if you raise your price to $2,000 a month, your brain is going to try and negate the evidence that you once sold out your one-on-one practice, and it's going to try and creep up on you and tell you that you've never sold at $2,000 before, that you're doubling your prices. And our brains are always going to be super tricky and super annoying with the way that they show up, and they try and tell us that they are, you know, that we need to doubt ourselves, that we don't have all of the information, that there's something that's missing from what we are looking at, right? And that we've got to figure that out. And it really is ultimately, at the end of the day, a decision for us to rewire our brains and our thoughts, and for us to notice when we're getting stuck in these ideas, in these limitations, in these doubts, and simply decide that we're telling a different story. For us to reaffirm within ourselves every damn day, whether it's affirmations in the mirror, or whether it's writing down in your journal, like why you are the best. And at the end of the day, I was just having this conversation in my mastermind, like deciding that you are the best is the greatest move you're ever going to make for your business. Like really locking in and deciding that you are the motherfucking goat, right? Not because you're like the best, like capital T, capital B of all time, or that there's not like other people or coaches out there who have different skill sets than you, but because like I can confidently sit here and say that I am the best coach, the best. Work with me. Your life will change. And I don't care if that's in a high-end one-on-one container, like my devotional co-creative containers in one-on-one, or if that's in my mastermind, or if that's taking a masterclass, or if that's sitting here on my lives free every Tuesday in my group and like actually taking in and listening and implementing. I am the fucking best. Does that mean that I'm better than everyone else? No. How? I know it seems weird, because I am the best at what I do, the way that I do it, for the people I do it for. And so depending on who you are and what you need and where you need support and you need coaching and you need help with in your life and your business, there's somebody out there who is the best for you, because not only are they an expert in what it is that you need help with, but they also are of the frequency and the vibration that you need. And they have a voice that speaks in a way that you hear them. And when they show up authentically and in their power, you find them and they can help you. And you are that person for somebody. You are the best at what you do for someone out there. And there is someone out there who is praying and manifesting and journaling about you, and they might not even know it. They might not know your name. Maybe they do. Maybe they're journaling literally that they want to work with you. Maybe they're literally trying to figure out how to manifest the money or the whatever to get into your spaces. But there are also a lot of people out there who are manifesting and praying and journaling about the support they need, about the help they need, about the answers they need. And you are that answer. And you have to step into that and take ownership of that and be like, you know what? You're right. There is someone somewhere who is crying out, having like a full-on breakdown right now about their problem, praying and hoping and wishing that something would come along and help them. And I am that something. I am that someone. And so it is my duty to get up and show up and do the things, to say the things, to write the things, to create the things, to put my sacred work out into the world, because there's somebody out there who is dying for it right now. And I am the only person that can help them, because not only do I have the expertise, not only do I have the skill set, not only do I have the ability to help them, but I can do it in an energy and a frequency and a vibration and a voice that they'll actually hear me. They'll actually listen to me. They'll actually learn from me. And we've all experienced this, right? We've all experienced the way that you can hear something being said 100 million times, but then you come across someone who says it like a little bit different. They say it in their voice, in their language, in their lexicon, like in their vibe of the way that they show up and they speak or they teach or they write. And all of a sudden it clicks. It feels different. It like the transmutation of the information is different. And that's what people are paying you for. That's what people want from you. They want your unique ability, your unique transmutation of the information that they could go and get anywhere. That's why people are going to pay you thousands of dollars for your work when they could probably just go out and buy a $15 book that is going to give them the same amount of information, because they're not paying for information, which is exactly the same reason why I can come here every single week and I can do these lives and I can do these riffs and I can tell you all the things and I can write content till I am blue in the fucking face. You can ask me questions all you goddamn want. You guys, seriously, come to this group. Come into the, jump into the comments of these videos or come into the group and ask questions. I am happy to tell you anything. I am happy to give you the answers. I do not gatekeep any information that I have. None of it. I will give you all of the same answers and all of the same thoughts and ideas here that I will give you in my programs that cost tens of thousands of dollars to get into. There is nothing that I'm going to hold back here in a free space that you can only get. I do not gatekeep like that. But why people do pay me and why people will pay you is so that they can step into the support, so that they have a place to go and be seen and witnessed and held, so that they can be in the constant frequency of your transmission of how you show up and pour into them as a person and how you help them solve their problems, not for the information. The information is why we think we buy, but really at the end of the day, we are paying to be held by other people. We are paying to have a place to go and be seen in ways we've never been seen before. And you have to trust and decide that you are the only person that can do that for your people. There is a section in the teacher's manual of A Course in Miracles that says like, when the teacher is ready, the students will appear. Right. And we've heard this, I think maybe it's like Star Wars or something where like there's a more common saying of like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, but it really honestly goes both ways. And you have to decide you're ready. You have to decide that you are enough. You have to decide that you can hold people, and you have to decide that you are the only one that can do it for certain people, and that there's nobody out there that can do it better than you. Not because there aren't other skilled people out there, not because there aren't other people who have a variety of different skills and talents, but they're not going to do it the way that you do it. Even in the ways that like you can compare me and, like other coaches, let's say, right? You can compare me to other coaches, and we might be teaching a lot of the same principles. We might be teaching a lot of the same things, but when you step into my containers, my energy, my frequency that you are then like calibrating to, that you are then setting to, like that's going to be different from somebody else's. My way of talking you through a problem, my way of helping you find the solutions that you need and solving for things in your business is going to be different than someone else. Even if we utilize the same tools and the same ideas and the same principles and values, the way we do our work is going to be different. And that's what makes you the best, is the way that you do your work, not the way that your values or your principles are different from everybody else, but the way you show up and walk people through it, because you are a combination of all of your teachers, all of your lived experiences, right? Where you grew up, how you grew up, and your energy, your vibration, your languaging. This is going to be the thing that calls people in. But that has to be something that you have to be deeply rooted and decided in, and something that you're willing to take ownership of. And if you cannot do that, if you cannot decide that you are the motherfucking best, that you are the person that these people need to hire, that nobody can serve in this way like you can, then every time you go out there to make a sale, every time you go out there to make an offer, every time you invite people into a conversation with you, there is going to be a part of you that doubts if you're able to do that, if you're able to hold it, if you're able to carry it, if you are good enough to be charging that price, if this is the correct work for you, if this is the correct container that your people want, et cetera, et cetera. There's always going to be a doubt. There's always going to be a fear. And the only way to solve for this, the only way to fix this for yourself, is for you to decide. And that is a long journey of doing a lot of really deep inner work of healing those people-pleasing tendencies, healing those places of you that look outside of you for validation, and taking a massive, massive ownership over your skill and over it is what you do. I've talked time and time again about how my main job in my business is to set my own energy and take care of myself. And I am unapologetic about it. Your main job in your business is to make sure that you are the best version of you, so you can be the best for your clients. So you can be undistracted, so you can be regulated, so you can be grounded, so you can be in a mastery over your emotions, so that you can be in your leadership, and so that you can be in a place where you are able to hold your clients, because there is space beyond what you're holding for yourself. That is your main job. Your main job in your business is you. Because if you are not taking care of yourself, how in the hell are you going to take care of your clients? Which is why, part of the reason why I have loved and created the 10-hour work week is because for the bulk of my business, I have spent the majority of my time taking care of me. My own self-care. And by self-care, I don't mean like taking a bubble bath, like on a Sunday. I'm calling it self-care. Like I'm talking about like me taking care of me, me making sure that my energy is where it needs to be, that my soul is where it needs to be, that my mind is where it needs to be. That is my job. And that gets put in the calendar first. Simple. It gets put in the calendar first. And I run my business around what I need for me, which is why I don't take calls before noon, which is why I don't take calls after a certain point in the evening, because my brain starts to like melt down, and I like to be in bed at 8 o'clock because like I'm a old ass lady, baby grandma. I don't go to sleep at 8 o'clock. I actually stay up fairly late and have trouble going to sleep before midnight even, but I like to be in bed at 8 o'clock. It's a hack that I have for my brain, because if I get in bed at 8 o'clock, then I get to have tons of what feels like revenge insomnia, like staying up late and watching shows, but like I can still get to bed at a semi-decent time. If I don't get into bed until 10, then I still want to watch 3 or 4 hours of shows, and then I'm up until like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I start at 8. But I make sure that there's time for me to do my mindset work, journal, read, meditate, work out, take care of myself. That is my highest priority. That gets in my days off. How much time I need off away from work gets put in the calendar first. And then what is left gets to be work. Then I get to build my schedule and my programs and my business, the structure, the schedule, everything around what I need. Because me showing up as the best, me showing up as the requires me showing up as the motherfucking best, which requires me to be the best version of me, which means I need to take care of myself. And I can tell you, when I'm not taking care of myself, I can see the way that that reflects in my copy, the way that it reflects in my leadership of my team, the way it reflects in my coaching. I can tell. But we want to come to our businesses to give and to serve and to create from a place of overflow, not from a place of exhaustion or self-doubt or proving. We want to come full to the brim, overflowing with knowing that we are the best version of ourselves and we have hella goodness to offer to our people. So there's really like, doubt is a thing that is gonna happen. It's just a human reaction. And there's never gonna be a day where doubt doesn't want to creep in. That is the name of the game. But you cannot let doubt be something that goes unchecked in your business, because you're gonna lose so much time and energy being in doubt that your business is not going to be where you want it to be. And it's definitely not going to feel the way you want it to feel, because you're going to consistently be in a striving and proving energy that is not productive and is not restful and is not easeful. That's how it's going to feel hard. It's always going to feel hard if you're trying to prove yourself. Always, always, always. It's never going to feel easy to prove yourself, ever. It's never going to feel easy to try and earn your way or prove your way to being good enough to do what you want to do. That is always going to bring the energy of hard. It's always going to bring the energy of struggle. And your business is going to be rife, full of doubt. And it's going to keep you from showing up and saying the things that you're here to say. It's going to keep you from creating the things that you're here to create. It's going to keep you from doing the things that you're here to do with the people who you're here to do it. And it's going to keep you fucking up at night, because you're going to be having tons of anxiety. And like, that's not something that you turn off because like you close the laptop or you put the phone down and like you walk away from your business. That self-doubt will creep with you everywhere you go. And so while we're never going to be able to fully get rid of doubt, because that's just going to be a natural, normal part of our subconscious mind, we have to learn how to check it. We have to learn how to catch those thoughts and make them obedient to what we choose to say, the story we choose to tell instead. What we know to be the truth is that you are the motherfucking best. You are fully capable. It is safe to trust yourself. It is safe to say the things that you want to say and create the things that you want to create and do the things that you want to do. And you get to do it. And if you can spend 10 minutes even every day confronting that doubt, slapping it around a little bit and telling it to shut the fuck up and sit down, you are going to be so much more easeful, restful, pleasureful, productive, in the zone in your work than you could ever be. It literally just takes a couple of minutes every day to look that self-doubt in the face, to look those questions in the face and say, no, this is not true. This is not the story. Lies from Satan. Strike it down. Not today. And you are going to gain hours, days, weeks, months, years back by spending a couple of minutes every single day shutting those voices down. Because if they go unchecked, they're going to follow you all day long and they're going to make everything take longer. Every post is going to take longer to write. Every program is going to take longer to create and launch. Every decision that you make as a leader in your business is going to take longer to make. Everything you do is going to take longer and everything's going to feel harder. So if you want things to start feeling easier, if you want to get a fuck ton of time back into your life and into your business, spend a couple moments every morning. I don't care. Like I said, pull it out and do it in your journal. Talk to yourself while you get ready in the mirror and do affirmations, but check those voices. Check that doubt. Remind yourself you're the motherfucking goat and that there are people out there who need you, not what you do, not a solution to the problem that you solve. They need you, specifically you, your voice, your energy, your person. That's what they need. Remind yourself of that every day. Remember it, ingrain it, write it on your fucking mirror, speak it into affirmations, write it in your journal. Take the doubts, rewrite them, reframe them, step into confidence, step into certainty, step into trust, and you are going to gain literally minutes, hours, weeks, months, years back into your life, because that is the fastest way that you can devolve into a blob of nothingness and inaction, and it will keep you paralyzed and it will ruin your business and it will ruin your life, because you can't be in self-doubt and also be in joy and celebration and ease and pleasure. They cannot coexist. So recognize it, learn to hear that voice, and learn how to strike it down, learn how to rewrite it, learn how to tell the truest story. And there's tons of different practices and things that you can do outside of just journaling it or speaking it. And those are a lot of the things that I do with my clients in the containers. A lot of different ways that we work through this, depending on where you're getting stuck, what's feeling hard for you. There's plenty of tools we can throw at the doubt. But that's a good place to start if you're not already doing it. And if you want to go further and you want to learn how to do this and you want to play with some of those tools, join me in either the 10-hour work week or Pussy in Your Pocket. I've got 2 things going right now for you to step into this work with me and into my world and into my frequency and vibration and voice and energy. The 10-hour work week starts on a Monday with our first module drop. That is 10 weeks of literally deconstructing your entire business to give you more time, more ease, more pleasure. We're looking at everything from our mindset and our leadership to our values, our structure, our strategy, how we're delegating, literally embodiment, pleasure, everything. You can go to I'll drop you a link if you want to go check it out. It starts for you can get started for $195, I think. And Pussy in Your Pocket is high touch, pocket coaching through Voxer, where you get daily access to me to ask me whatever the fuck you want and have me hold you in whatever it is that you need. It is a small group of amazing humans who are going to be sistering and bossing and moving through things together on a daily basis. So there's like, it's that constant conversation and that constant access to be able to not have to wait for another call, not have to wait until the next, the next week or whatnot, or for a question to get answered, but to just be able to, in a more real-time way, be in a conversation so that like when you get stuck somewhere, when things like doubt come up, like we can shift it really quick together. We'll throw the tools at it and you'll be on your way. So if you want to be able to hit the stuff in more of a real-time manner, so you can make faster shifts and take faster action, Pussy in Your Pocket is your deal. It's $888 a month or $2,500 for all 3 months. And there is a pay in full bonus. So DM me about that or go to the 10-hour work week sales page to learn about that. I hope to see you guys inside. Both of those start next week. So do not waste time. The card is closing fast. And I will see you back here next week, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, as always. And we will be back for that live. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I'd love to hear your comments, your doubts, the things that you get stuck. So don't be afraid to keep the conversation going in the comments. I'll circle back around and we will talk more. I love you. Have an amazing week.